Hello. Okay, this is a continuation from the previous tutorial we had where we discussed about the basics of HTML and CSS. I asked you guys to install Visual Studio Code and the Chrome browser, which we'll be using throughout this course. I hope you've done that. For this tutorial, we are going to install the extensions that we need. That is the live server that enable us to run our code and visualize the output on the web browser, and also the prettier code formatter that basically allows us to format our code to appear nicely. We are also going to learn about the structure of HTML, and we're also going to learn on the basic elements that are used in HTML. So let's start by installing the extensions that we need. Let's start with the live server. From here, you go to extensions, just search live server. Yeah, here it is. Then install. Yeah, we've installed that. We need to install the prettier code formatter. Yeah, here it is. We've installed that. That is how you install extensions in Visual Studio Code. If you want to install any extension that you have in mind, you just come to extensions, then you search it here, then you click install, and the extension will be installed. Okay, since we've installed the extension that we need, we are going to study about the structure of HTML document. Let me just create a simple HTML document here, index.html. So if you are using VS Code, the shortcut is basically to write HTML, then go to this option HTML5, and this will basically give you the structure of HTML document. It usually has these parts. First, it starts with a doc type. Doc type usually defines the type of document, which is HTML5. Then it has a root element. A root element is called HTML. You see it has the opening tag and the closing tag, and here basically we define the language, which is English in this case. Then inside the root element, which is HTML, we have the head tag. Now the head tag usually holds content like the title of the document, the meta tags. The meta tags are basically used for search engine optimization. We'll learn about that later. Then under the head tag, we have a body tag. A body tag is where all the content is placed here. All the text, all the images, all the videos, forms, whatever you usually visualize on the web pages, those content usually are placed inside the body tag. So this is a simple structure on how a HTML document looks like. First, it starts with the doc type, which basically describes the document type, that is HTML. Then it has a root element called HTML tag. Inside it, you can this one is an attribute. If you remove it here, it will still work, but it's good practice just to put the language of the document here. For our case, it's English. Then inside the root element, we have the head tag and the body tag. The head tag, this usually comprises the title of the document and the meta tags. And the body, this is where all other contents are placed here. Whatever you usually visualize on the web page is placed here. Alright, since by now we all know the structure of an HTML document, let us now look at the basic elements that are used in HTML. So, what is an element? Let me just show you here. This body tag here is an element. This head here is an element. This meta tag here is an element. This meta tag also is an element. This title is an element. This HTML tag here is an element. So what is an element? Basically, elements are building blocks of HTML document. That is how we can call it in simple terms. There are two types of elements. Elements that require the opening and the closing tags, and there are elements which has only one tag called the self-closing tag. So for example, the title here is an element. It has two tags. It has the opening tag and a closing tag. A closing tag usually has a forward slash, but an opening tag does not have one. This is a one type of element where it has two tags, an opening tag and a closing tag. The second type of elements is an element such as the meta element here, which has only one tag. It doesn't have a closing tag. This tag is called a self-closing tag. It usually doesn't require a closing tag here. So when should you use this type of an element and this type of element which has only one tag? So if an element has a child content inside it, like this one is called a child content. So if an element has a child content inside it, you need to accompany it with a closing tag. But if an element lacks child content inside it, you don't need to add a closing tag. A self-closing tag also can be written with a slash like this. Also, this one is valid as a self-closing tag. Okay, in summary, this is how HTML elements are formed. If an element has a child content inside it, it must have an opening tag and a closing tag. Like the title element here, it has a child content inside, so it must have an opening tag and a closing tag. If an element does not have a child content inside it, it requires a self-closing tag, such as a meta tag here. Okay, now that all of us are familiar with what are elements, how they are written, and when to use them, let us look at the elements themselves. We'll begin to look at the heading tags. So if you've ever used Word, you are already familiar with the header tags. For example, we have two texts here. The first text is hello, the second text is world. So we can put this hello as heading 1, then you can put this world as heading 2. This is the same instance with HTML. You see heading 1 is bigger than heading 2. So in HTML we have 6 heading tags: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6. H1 is bigger and H6 is smaller. Okay, let us implement the same in VS Code from H1 to H6. That is heading 1 to heading 6. So let's start with H1, then inside it just write hello, then go to H2, just go hello. Now I have Copilot with me. That's why you are seeing the suggestions here. You can enable it in your VS Code. It will make you code faster. So like here I can just hit tab, heading 3, you just know heading 4, heading 5 and heading 6. Let's visualize this output on our browser. Remember we installed an extension called Live Server. So we need to start that extension. I don't know if you're able to see the go live option here at the bottom of my screen. Let me compress this window first. At the bottom here you see there's an option called go live here. So when you click go live, this application will start on the Chrome browser. Here it is. Now this one is H1, this one is H2, this one is H3, this one is H4, this one is H5 and this one is H6. H1 is bigger and H6 is smaller. Right now you know how to use the live server. I've not showed you how to use the prettier code formatter that we installed earlier. Let me show you. For example, let's just disorient this code, then you see what prettier code formatter will do for us. Now imagine this is how your code is. Indentation is not okay, right? So prettier code formatter will help you sort out these lines of code nicely. Just hit Alt, Shift and F. Then select the prettier code formatter, this one. Just like that, all the lines have been sorted correctly. Alright, now that we are all familiar with the heading tags, let us now look into the paragraphs. So in HTML, the paragraphs are written using the P element. You need to write P, that is a P element. Then inside the P element or the P tags, you need to write your text inside there. In HTML, if you want a dummy data just for visualization, we usually use lorem ipsum text. To generate that text, just write lorem, Then write the number of words that you require. For me, I require 500 words, so I'll go with 500. Then you click tab. The system will generate you a 500 word long paragraph. Let us add another paragraph here. Now inside the p tag, you put your text here. Let me go with lorem, 300 words. Then you hit tab. Okay, let me add another paragraph here. So I'll go with p. Then inside here, I'll write lorem. Then I need just 200 words here. Then hit enter. Okay, now we have our 3 paragraphs. Let us visualize them in our browser. Click go live. Yes, here is our output. Here are our 6 heading tags. Then here are our 3 paragraphs. Very simple, right? Yeah, this is how paragraphs are written in HTML. Okay, there are other tags that follow the same architecture. I want you to go and try them out. We have the span tag, we have the B tag for bold, we have the I tag for italics, we have the mark tag for highlighting the text, we have the U tag for underlining text. There are so many tags. You see, even the Copilot is helping me out. We have the del tag, the insert tags, the subscript tag, the superscript tag, the small tag, the strong tag, I think this is the emphasis tag, the quote tag, the block quote tag, the abbreviation tag. There are lots and lots of tags, and basically it follows the same architecture. Opening tag, child content, closing tag. You can even search for HTML tags online, then try to write them down in your browser, then let me know how it goes. Let me just comment this one here. Okay, another thing I've remembered is HTML comments. So basically comments are text that are not executed. They are just there to make your code more readable. Comments in HTML are written like this, where we have the left angle bracket, the exclamation mark, then the 2 hyphens. Then you write your comment here, any text can do. Then you close using 2 hyphens and the right angle bracket. The shortcut for doing this in VS Code is Ctrl and /. When I click Ctrl and /, it uncomment. When I click again Ctrl and /, it comments out. So please go and try out these other tags, span, B, I, mark, U, and the other ones that I've read to you. Then let me know how it goes in the comment section down below. Okay, now let us check on hyperlinks. So basically hyperlinks are elements that are used to navigate users from one page to another, or from one section to another section in the same web page. So to put a hyperlink on your web page, you use an A tag or an anchor tag. Let me show you that. So inside the 2 tags, you need to place the text that is visible to the user. For example, if I want you to navigate to Google, when you click this link, I'll put here, go to Google, right? Then on the first A, the opening tag, you need to put here the link that the user will be redirected to. To put the link, you use an href attribute. In the next tutorial, we are going to learn about attributes in HTML, but for now just know that to put an anchor tag in your web page, you need to use an attribute called href. So let us collect a Google link and put it here. Copy this URL, then paste it here. Since our paragraphs are so huge, let us put this link here. Let me zoom in. Here is our link. Go to Google. Then when you click this URL, you'll be redirected to Google. The next thing I want us to do is to add an image, an audio, and a video to our web page. So to do that, I'm going to introduce you to a new tag called a div tag. So here is the div tag. Remember, you can nest HTML elements. Like you have the head, which is the parent element here, and it has nested title and 2 meta tags. So basically you can nest HTML elements. So to put an image into your web page, you are going to use a tag called img. img is one of the elements that use self-closing tags. Let me show you that. So you'll put img. Remember, in our next tutorial we are going to cover the HTML attribute, so make sure you don't miss. These are what we call the HTML attributes. To visualize an image to our web page, we'll need a link to that image. So a link can be an online link or a local file. Here is an image of a cat, and the link to this image is here. So copy this link, place it here. An alt text is basically the description of that image. Since this is a cat, our alt text can be cat. Let us add an attribute of width such that our image does not overflow from the viewport. So you just write here width 200 pixels. Yeah, that is it. Now let's go to our browser to check our image. Yes, here it is. You visualize your first image. Very simple, right? Okay, let us now add a video. As usual, div tag. Then we are going to use a video element. Let us just add that element here. Then we need to add the source to our video, src. The source is basically the link to that video. It's the same as src in this image element. So there is a video that we have here. So copy this URL and put it here. We also need to add the width of this video. Let us just go with 200 pixels also. Also, we need to add the controls attribute to enable the user to play, pause, forward, and rewind the video. So you need to add controls. Save. Now when you go to your web page, here is the video with the controls. The next thing we are going to add to our web page is audio. So to add audio, we are going to use an audio element, correct? Now let's add an audio element here. The same way, we are going to add the source to that audio, that is the link to that audio. Also, we need to add controls so that the user is able to play the audio, and add it inside a div tag. Okay, now let us find the URL to our audio. There's this audio here. Copy this URL, then put it here. Let's just give it a width of 200 pixels. Now let's see. Yes, here it is, our audio. That's nice. Yeah, by now we know how to add header tags to our web page. We know how to add links to our web page. We know how to add images to our web page. We know how to add videos to our web page. We also know how to add audios to our web page. We also know how to add paragraphs to our web page. And by now, since I gave you an assignment to add these other tags, I'm expecting you to be knowing how to add span tags, bold tags, italics tags, mark tags, and underline tags, among the others, right? Okay, that's fine. The last thing, okay, since we are adding media to our web page, I need to show you guys how you can also add a YouTube video to your web page. So basically, go to YouTube. Okay, let us go with this tutorial. Click any of these videos, then right click the video, then click copy embed code, this one. Okay, now put your div tags here, then paste what you've copied here. Then let us format this code using our prettier code formatter. Shift Alt F. It will format for us nicely. It's here. Now we are able to see the attributes. Okay, here is the width. We don't want a large video on our web page, so let us just put 200, like video and audio. The height, we can remove it so that the video is not deformed. This is the source of our link. These others are just the attributes of this video. Let's not go into details about them. We'll cover it in the next tutorial. So let's save this and check on our browser. This is our image, this is our video, this is our audio, and now this is our YouTube video. You can play it.
By the end of this course, you'll have the skills to build modern responsive websites using just HTML.
Okay, I think we've covered enough in this tutorial. So in the next tutorial, we are going to cover lists, tables, forms, and HTML attributes. Then the tutorial after that will be covering the basics of CSS, which will usher us into starting our project of building the TikTok interface. Thank you for sticking to the end. It really means a lot. And if you have not subscribed to the channel already, kindly do so. It means a lot to me. Until next time, bye bye.